Hey, good afternoon, everybody. It is September 17, 2022, and we are in the New Testament, and we are in the book of Luke, and we are going to read chapter 11, verse 37 to chapter 12, verse 12 today. All right, so what is going on in this section? Well, more fun with the Pharisees. Okay, so he goes to eat at one of their house, and he doesn't wash his hands. And the Pharisees say, hey, why aren't you washing your hands? Now, what is not happening in here? Well, Jesus is not saying, hey, you know what, it's okay to be a filthy pig and not wash your hands if you're going to eat. It isn't about diseases and germs and eating dirt. Okay, it's about this spiritual ritual, being spiritually and ritually clean. Okay, and if you go back in the Old Testament and you read that, Leviticus, Deuteronomy, all kinds of ways that people said, hey, you know what, God, we're sorry that we made this cow while Moses was up on the hill, but now that you're back down here, teach us how to be holy like you are. And God said, well, I don't think you really want. Oh, no, God, we want to be holy like you. So he gave us all kinds of laws and said, you know what, you're never ever going to be able to meet all these, but if you want them, here they are. And here we are in the first century, and we have taken the laws. The Pharisees have taken these laws and just twisted them and looked at them and dissected them and added to them and subtracted, to the point that the laws have overtaken everything. And Jesus tells them, hey, you know what, it's not, you're so worried about doing what's right in the eyes of God. You know what, you're having a meal, you're going to shake out some salt, you want to put 1/10 of that salt aside, and you want to put it in a little cup so you can take it to the temple and sacrifice it. And you want to cut a little bit of your meat and put that in a bowl because you're going to take that to sacrifice it. And you're going to put a little ketchup on it. Oh, I got to put a little dash of ketchup in there so I can go sacrifice it. And I'm going to take this bowl and I'm going to walk past that starving widow and say, excuse me, out of the way, I got to take this up and I got to go and give this to the Lord. Say, no, you know what, you forgot that giving the 10th is supposed to take care of those poor people. The reason why you're going through that cleansing ritual is so you can think about God and how he's provided for you and give thanks and prepare yourself to accept his blessings. It's not about what you're doing, it's about why you're doing it. And at this point in the first century, again, the Pharisees have come up with so many different reasons of what we should be doing, but they don't remember why they're doing it. And Jesus is calling them, hey, you know what? Forget the letter of the law, get back to the spirit of the law. And the Pharisees are like, well, hey, you know what? I think he might be talking about us. And Jesus says, hey, no kidding, I'm talking about you. And the Pharisees said, well, that isn't us. In fact, we're going to kill you because you're saying that. And he's like, okay, that's what's wrong. Okay, you're being hypocrites. You're saying one thing, but what you're doing doesn't reflect what you're saying. It's more important to do it than it is to say it. So let's go ahead and we're going to read Luke chapter 11 verse 37 to chapter 12 verse 12. And as he spoke, a certain Pharisee asked him to dine with him. So he went in and sat down to eat. When the Pharisee saw it, he marveled that he had not first washed before dinner. Then the Lord said to him, now you Pharisees make the outside of the cup and dish clean, but your inward part is full of greed and wickedness. Foolish ones, did not he who made the outside make the inside also? But rather gives alms of such things as you have, then indeed all things are clean to you. But woe to you Pharisees, for you tithe mint and rue and all manner of herbs, and pass by justice and the love of God. These you ought to have done without leaving the others undone. Woe to you Pharisees, for you love the best seats in the synagogues and greetings in the marketplaces. Woe to you scribes and Pharisees, hypocrites, for you are like graves which are not seen, and the men who walk over them are not aware of them. And one of the lawyers answered and said to him, Teacher, by saying these things you reproach us also. And he said, woe to you also, lawyers, for you load men with burdens hard to bear, and you yourselves do not touch the burdens with one of your fingers. Woe to you, for you build the tombs of the prophets, and your fathers killed them. In fact, you bear witness that you approve the deeds of your fathers. They indeed killed them, and you build their tombs. Therefore the wisdom of God also said, I will send them prophets and apostles, and some of them they will kill and persecute. That the blood of all the prophets which was shed from the foundation of the world may be required of this generation, from the blood of Abel to the blood of Zechariah, who perished between the altar and the temple. Yes, I say to you, it shall be required of this generation. Woe to you lawyers, for you have taken away the key of knowledge. You did not enter yourselves, and those who were entering in you hindered. And as he said these things to them, the scribes and the Pharisees began to assail him vehemently and to cross-examine him about many things. lying in wait for him and seeking to catch him in something he might say, that they might accuse him. In the meantime, when an innumerable multitude of people had gathered together so that they trampled one another, he began to say to his disciples, "First of all, beware of the leaven of the Pharisees, which is hypocrisy. For there is nothing covered that will not be revealed, nor hidden that will not be known. Therefore, whatever you have spoken in the dark will be heard in the light, and what you have spoken in the ear in inner rooms will be proclaimed on the housetops. And I say to you, my friends, do not be afraid of those who kill the body, and after that have no more that they can do. But I will show you whom you should fear. Fear him who, after he has killed you, has power to cast you into hell. Yes, I say to you, fear him. Are not 5 sparrows sold for 2 copper coins, and not one of them is forgotten before God? But the very hairs of your head are all numbered. Do not fear, therefore, you are of more value than many sparrows. Also I say to you, whoever confesses me before men, from him the Son of Man also will confess before the angels of God. But he who denies me before men will be denied before the angels of God. And anyone who speaks a word against the Son of Man, it will be forgiven him. But to him who blasphemes against the Holy Spirit, it will not be forgiven. Now, when they bring you to the synagogues and magistrates and authorities, do not worry about how or what you should answer or what you should say, for the Holy Spirit will teach you in that very hour what you ought to say. May God bless the reading of his word, and may God bless you. Bye.